Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back to What She Said. It's that kind of day. Big moves, shaking and moving is happening, and it's looking good. Once again, Coach Prime has proven that he is him. Yesterday, after our conversation, because that's what we have conversations. Um, the title of the live stream, I always title it after we talk because you never know. I have an agenda, but sometimes we talk about things that are not on the agenda. I allow for flexibility. So yesterday I entitled the live stream, Coach Prime has exceeded expectations for Colorado. And today proves that. So not only do we have these overalls that I have yet to get my hands on, we knew we had a spring game coming up when schools like Alabama are canceling their spring game. At Colorado, it's called the Black and Gold game, right? It's supposed to kind of be like a first look after all of the practice and conditioning, see who's who you can count on. Because, our first game out the gate is Georgia Tech. So I said, when the schedule came out and we discussed the schedule, what did I say? I said, I wish we had a game before Georgia Tech. I needed some competition before Georgia Tech because we're going to need to know who the QB is before Georgia Tech. We don't need to find out in the first half and then it be like a Nebraska all over again where we come on late in the second half. Even though there was some extraneous factors there, the point is we got started late. Regardless of why it was late. So we don't want that, right? Well, guess what? I also wanted Colorado to go where for a bowl game. And who did I want to play in Las Vegas at the Las Vegas Bowl? Syracuse. I was like, I want Colorado to compete against Syracuse in the bowl game. Kyle McCord was their quarterback at the time. He's entering the NFL draft just like Shedeur Sanders, right? So I'm getting my wishes around here. And I said yesterday, I know on this podcast, yesterday, if not yesterday, the day before, I said, Syracuse is competition for Colorado when it comes to these recruits. They giving Colorado a run for the money because there are students that can look like, I don't want to go to Boulder. Not that wherever Syracuse is in New York or New Jersey is better, but, it's closer to New York. And, depending on where you're from, what part of the country, maybe you from North Dakota, you like Colorado, New York, right? And sometimes it comes down to that. So guess what? Guess what's happening? This is breaking news in my opinion. A couple of my wishes are coming true. Now the packaging and the date on the calendar might be a little different. We're still having a spring game instead of being a inter-squad competition. We get to play Syracuse. Just like I wanted to in the bowl game, but it's the spring game. So we're still having a spring game instead of canceling it because it can be monotonous and you might not get much out of it because the first game isn't until August. But we got a serious QB battle here. We need to know. We need to see some competition. We got it. Asked and answered. Colorado is playing Syracuse. As you can see, head coach Fran Brown, said we're going to be in Colorado for 3 days. They're going to practice against Syracuse for 2 days. And guess what? They're going to play Syracuse in the spring game, which is on ESPN, I do believe, too. So it's on television. Those of us that can't make it to Colorado, we get to see it. Analysts got something to talk about. Let's give them something to talk about. Here it is. Here it is. Here it is. Now, I said Pro Day was going to be epic, right? I said Pro Day at CU is going to be epic. Coach Prime confirmed in his first spring ball press conference that all 32 NFL teams will be in Boulder. Whatever facility they're in, the practice facility I'm sure that we typically see, it's going to be stacked as much as it can be. This is going to be epic. So we have Pro Day coming up in the first week in April, like around the 4th. Then we got the spring game to look forward to where we get to see QB to QB. We get to see who it might be. We get to see what they're made of when the lights are bright. See, all of our players are good, or they wouldn't be at Colorado. But it's when the lights get bright, the cameras start flickering. How are you going to perform? And that's what we get to see. I'm excited about it. The media, I told y'all they like Juju. Look like CU got their own series going where they followed Jordan Seaton, who was actually FaceTiming Kaden Salter about, spring practice. So CU is kind of picking up a lesson or two from Bucky. And instead of just filming the practices, which are already being done, they're going a day in the life of the players. And they went with, who did I say the leader of the team was going to be? Big man number 77. What's in the bag? See, JC, Jordan Seaton. This sets him up for the world to know who he is and to achieve his goal, because he want to go in the first round. And I'm sure he want to be a top five pick when it's time for him to be drafted. So everything is coming together. Everything is coming together. And it seems that Coach Prime is still hiring coaches. He said, we're not done yet. We got some moves we getting ready to make. So I don't know who it is. But the high caliber coaches they bring in. He said Coach Warren Sapp was settled in. So I don't know who we going to get. Some people speculating. Is it Ed Reed? Is it Terrell Owens? I'm like, I don't even know what need it is out there. I thought we had everybody. So we got another trick in the bag. So a lot to talk about, right? So the next few days this week is huge. There's a Big 12, like a pro day, just for the Big 12 conference football players. 200 players are expected to descend upon, guess where, in Dallas, Texas. More like Frisco, the Star. So what did I do? I already had a photo of the Star to share with y'all to show y'all how magnificent it was. That no other organization out here, football team, has this type of real estate when it comes to their practice facility. There's a 5-star hotel. The Omni is on the premises. So I'm sure that's where they'll be camped out, where they'll be staying. I told y'all there's restaurants, there's shopping, there's the Star itself, there's Ford Field. All of this belongs to the Dallas Cowboys. So everybody will be treated, the world will get to see, because NFL Network is hosting the Big 12 Pro Day. Now the question is, are other conferences doing this, or is it that? Because the commissioner of the Big 12 is him. Even though I think he could lean on these NCAA refs. See, the commissioner of the Big 12 came from Live Nation, Rock Nation. He's from that orbit. So he understands how to put on the show. The NFL, since you saw how the Combine was broadcast, they want to blow their network up. They want to charge you $14 a month to watch it, so they need something to show. So they're making a big deal out of the Big 12 Pro Day. So it seems to be the only conference that's having a Pro Day, but it won't be the last time that it's only one conference. I'm pretty sure the SEC will adopt it as well. Then Jerry Jones gets to show off his real estate with the Star. That's a complex. What do they call it? World headquarters and campus. It is that. It is definitely a campus. That's what you feel like. Feel like you're going from class to class. You know how big a college campus is? Look at this. This is not anything by any means to sneeze at. If y'all, and it's open to the public. It's open to the public. Check the dates. Check the times. It is open to the public. If you can get to Frisco, which is a suburb of Dallas, you should go. And email me some content. Email me some content here. You never know. But, this is exciting. So it seems like there's a lot of power moves at play with the NFL Network, the Star, the Big 12. This is probably the first time they're doing this, and it won't be the last. It will likely expand at a time where teams are trying to do away with the spring game because they think it's monotonous. It seems that Coach Prime and Coach Fran Brown have put the collective brain trust together to come up with a fantastic idea. These schools got the money. Come on to Boulder. 3 days. Practice. You know, it's going to be cameras everywhere, and nobody else did it first. Nobody else did it first. This is why we love Coach Prime. It don't even matter whose idea it was. He said yes, whether he was, if they asked him about it or if it was his idea. It wouldn't surprise me if it was his idea. But the point is, it's going down. So if you can get to Boulder or you can get to Frisco, Big 12 Pro Day this week, April 19th. I don't even know if they still calling it the black and gold game because it's not an inter-squad game. It seems that it's the spring game and it's a competitive spring game. This is exciting. This is the type of excitement that Coach Prime brings to the universities where he coached or to the teams where he coached. And y'all know we talked about it yesterday. And you got to respect the man. His extension, his contract not even signed, and he's still going. Doing it big. Not giving up, not tapping out, not waiting to see. That's respectable. That's admirable because most people wouldn't. They would do the bare minimum from here on out until they got what they needed. But this is why people like Coach Prime. He don't tap out. He does the right thing even when the wrong thing is happening. And that's godly. In fact, that's one of the things I think I learned from Bible study at some point. You're supposed to do the right thing even when the wrong thing is happening. And that's what Coach Prime does. So mark your calendars. Let me know your thoughts. What you think about this competitive spring game with Syracuse going to Boulder for 3 days? They're going to practice for 1 or 2, and then they're going to play. What y'all think about it? Let me know your thoughts. Let me check in with the comments, see what's going on. All right, we got the squad in here. I appreciate it. I see 11 people. Please make sure there are 11 likes. Shout out to the family and friends of What She Said podcast. We have a new member. Yay! Jerry became a member yesterday. Not just a new sub. He became a member. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. We got Darlene that just joined week or 2 ago. We got Gracie, Kiel holding it down for the family. I appreciate it. We got James. If we don't see James in the podcast, the chat, he is on the part of the replay game. If you can't make the live stream, watch the replay. Make sure you leave some comments, and everybody's doing that. I appreciated that. Y'all are riding for me. I appreciate it. I really do. I do this even if there's other things going on. I still show up. So I appreciate those that show me love, and if you're considering it, thank you in advance. All right. So let's see who's in the house so we could see what's going on. Right, yes, I feel like a phone call. If you're new, drop the area code to the chat. Okay, thank you. Sharita, hey, Sharita. How you doing? Welcome back. Welcome back. Damon, thank you. Hello. Thank you, Damon. Text me my government name. Is what she said. Let's see. Let's see. So last night, this morning at about 2:53, somewhere between 2:30 and 2:53, I dropped a members on video. As of now, most members only video. Most members have watched it already. I appreciate y'all responding to your notifications and leaving great commentary and starting interaction in the chat for members only video. I appreciate that. Keep it going. Keep up the good work. It say, hey, chat, hit the like button. Yes, hey, how you doing, Ms. Mel? It's okay if you late. Thank you for showing up. We appreciate it. Kiel said, no, this is the first time. This is the first time that a major conference and having a major conference is having a pro day. Usually the individual universities have their own pro days. And I saw good content today from Syracuse pro day. I follow Syracuse. We had a coach, I think his name is Nick Wright. He left Colorado and he went to Syracuse. And I know of 1 or 2 players went with him. So when he left and Fran Brown, after Fran Brown got the job, I started following Syracuse. So I knew who Kyle McCord was. I watched him play. I realized quickly that they were competition for Colorado, which is why when we got to the bowl series, I was hoping we got invited to play Syracuse in the Las Vegas Bowl. But as you know, we still had that contract from the Pac-12 where we played the Alamo Bowl. So I think that's done. So this year, hopefully we go to the Big 12, we win it, and then we get to the college football playoffs. It wouldn't surprise me if Syracuse is right there. There are actually, you know what? Our quarterback, I think, got an offer from Syracuse. Caden Salter, I think he was offered by Syracuse as well, and he chose Colorado. So I'm telling you, this is going to be good. These two schools, in my opinion, are lockstep when it comes to the football teams. Fran Brown being there, Coach Prime being in Boulder. I told y'all Coach Prime opened some doors. Whether he knew Fran Brown at the time or not, all these coaches seem to know each other. This is excellent in my opinion. There are going to be people out there that's not going to want to talk about it because why? They didn't think of it first. Well, guess what? It's out there. And you can't help but talk about it because it's exciting, especially at a time when there are schools canceling their spring game. And I know I asked on this podcast, did anybody hear all of the talk about Alabama canceling their spring game? I don't know what their final decision was, but they were one of the universities thinking of canceling. That's exposure for these guys. It's not just about the school. So why would you cancel it? Like, this is the first look that scouts have at the players. And I know they come to the campuses, but everybody's waiting to see who's who, because we knew CU Pro Day, even if it was just black versus gold, was going to be lit. We knew it. But now that you put the competition aspect to it, Syracuse is coming to town for 3 days. That's business for Boulder. That goes into what we talked about yesterday. Colorado will need to go ahead on and just give Coach Prime a blank check and say, get what you need. Because this is, again, bringing money to the university. This is going to be excellent coverage for the practices for them, for us, for CU. It's going to be where they eat, where they sleeping, what they doing while they there, what they doing in the city. They going to get some free time to themselves. Then the game itself and the practice. This is going to be huge. This is huge. The idea of it is innovative in itself, which I thrive on innovation. I love it. I admire it because anybody can reinvent the wheel. But to do something like this when people are tapping out on their spring game, this is huge for the players. So the fact that we played a conference mate in the bowl game, this makes up for that, in my opinion. It might not be at the Alamo Bowl. It don't matter where it is. It's the fact that we get to play somebody else before we play Georgia. Not Georgia, Lord. Before we play Georgia Tech. And that's what I wanted. Because that first game is going to be huge. It's going to set the tone. And based on how these guys look in the spring, we got something that we get to focus on. They get to learn what they develop on, what they need to develop on from the spring game in April to the week or two before they play Georgia Tech. Because Georgia Tech going to be waiting. Anybody that went 8 rounds in OT with Georgia got a chip on their shoulder, and they didn't win that game. I think I heard they felt like they might have been cheated a little bit. Some calls might have went Georgia's way a little bit. But I watched that game. That was one heck of a game. So yeah, Kiel, thank you for confirming that. Nobody else has done this. Talk about innovation. Good evening. Good evening. It said the news is 2. Hey, Jerry, how you doing? The breaking news is 2. So I felt like this was breaking news. Jerry is saying the news is 2. So my members only video was breaking news because 2 people linked up. And I love it. I love it because it does so many things at once. All right, so let's move on. We talked about the spring game. Coach Prime still hiring, making moves. They got a big move coming out. We know about the Big 12 Pro Day taking place in Frisco at the Star. And Coach Prime said he's going to try to get down there to support our guys. I know I heard Justin Mayers was going. I need to find out if anybody else is going. The linemen are listed, defensive, offensive. I know I saw quarterback. I think I saw the quarterback position was listed. I don't know if I saw receiver, though. I was reading and moving at the same time, so I didn't have a chance to catch it. But guess what? It's going to be on NFL Network, and I think I gave them $14 last month or this month, so we're going to check it out. We're going to have to check it out. I think if you have Paramount app, it might be on there. I think they're associated with the Paramount Plus app. So check that out, and somebody let me know if that's the case. All right, so there was some more breaking news outside of this, and this can't eclipse that. It's just same but different, like apples and oranges in the same fruit bowl. What am I talking about? I'm talking about, y'all know who I'm talking about, Shedeur Sanders. So yeah, Jerry, you're right. You are so right. The news is Shedeur Sanders. Shedeur Sanders and Geno Smith linked up. And I knew when Shedeur posted a picture with the background being blurry, it was hard for me to see what city it was. And he had so much going on. He's in the video. I can't tell what city it is, so I know there's a message. And then he had new music attached to it, like a snippet, which was actually pretty good, called Walk by Faith, right? So I'm listening to that, trying to find the actual whole song. I didn't see it on Spotify. I leave a comment under the post that say, look, I need this on Spotify, sir. I need this song on Spotify, sir. Legendary B-side, Walk by Faith. And I saw this guy in the photo. They were outside somewhere. And he had his glasses on. He was taller than Shedeur, in my opinion. And it never dawned on me that this was Geno Smith. And I was like, oh my God, okay, I love it, I love it, I love it. Because what does it do? It quiets the haters who are saying Shedeur is plummeting in the draft. His draft stock is plummeting, or he's not the QB that anybody wants. It shows that that's just false. That's just absolutely false. And I don't know, they could have been in Vegas. But the fact that they linked up, these two gonna be teammates. It further pushes the theory that Shedeur Sanders is going to the Raiders. And guess what else it does? Just like Shedeur linking up with Cam Ward, also in Vegas, at UNLV, that was not a coincidence. What did it do? It kept the media from trying to pit them together. That's exactly what this does. Now you can't pit Geno against Shedeur. Whatever decision Las Vegas makes, it shows Shedeur cool with it. Whatever decision whatever decision Las Vegas make about Geno show he cool with it too. It said that Geno got a 1-year contract. I think he was looking for $35 million. That's what the media says. I don't know what he's looking for. The fact that they only gave him a 1-year contract and he was traded for a 3rd-round pick tells you that he kind of understands he might be a bridge quarterback. He might be insurance just in case Shedeur starts. That's what I expect to happen. I expect Shedeur to start. And I could be wrong, but that's what I expect. They're now saying that the Jets are looking at bringing in some insurance, to draft some insurance just in case Justin Fields. So I don't know what's going to happen there. But the latest poll has Cam Ward going to the Titans. It has, listen to how it was said, the Giants are going to grab Shedeur Sanders. I was like, grab Shedeur Sanders? Like, how informal can you get? Right? So we're not worried about it. Because I really and truly was looking at NCAA coverage about the selection Sunday, how South Carolina felt snubbed, etc., this, that, and the other. And honestly, I really didn't hear much about this. I said when I posted about 2, almost 3 a.m., I said, the sun hasn't come up yet, but this is starting to make its way, to the media. Because if you Googled it, it's out there. But I didn't hear anybody talking about it. So it could have been because I was focused on something else, moving around. Maybe we'll hear about it later. But this is huge. This takes the wind out of the sails of the rumors and the hatred towards Shedeur. It basically says they're both fine with whatever. They're down and happy to be teammates. And you can't pit them against each other like they're strangers, because they're obviously not strangers. So that was the breaking news last night. Let me know if y'all heard about it. But this is huge, in my opinion. This moves several things forward on the Colorado front with Shedeur. It basically clears the air. It takes the negativity out of the air. Something positive to celebrate. Same as with Coach Prime. Instead of focusing on the extension, guess what we're focused on? The competitive spring game. Because Coach Fran Brown has already said we will be in Boulder for 3 days. So it's going down. It said this is the first time that a Power 5 conference is having its own pro day. Usually the university's individual pro should be interesting. It should be. Colorado's going to be stacked. Colorado's is going to be stacked. I already called that. But now, I don't know who's actually participating from Colorado in the Big 12 Pro Day. That's my thing. I don't really know. Like, is this where Shane Coates, we start to see him more? Is this where Lavonta Bentley, Justin Mayers already said he was going? Y'all know he just got the Escalade, so if some other people ride with him, if they all in the same city, is Shiloh gonna go? I don't know if it's what. I don't have 100% understanding of all which positions are going to be there. I know I saw quarterbacks, I saw linemen, but I don't recall seeing wide receivers. But that doesn't mean that that's not the case. And if it is Jimmy going to go, or is he just going to wait to Colorado Pro Day? Because what did we hear about at the combine? Our guys were waiting for Colorado Pro Day. It was actually Justin Mayers was the first person that said that they were going down to Dallas for the Big 12 Pro Day. That's how I actually knew about it, from listening to Justin Mayers talk about it. Hey, D. Johnson, how you doing? This news is legendary. Yes, perfect. This news is legendary. It sure is. And we still waiting on Russ to figure out. Well, we're not waiting on Russ. I understand. I just read before the podcast started that Aaron Rodgers is holding the Steelers hostage because for whatever reason, the Steelers are waiting on Aaron Rodgers, even though the Giants said they were frustrated waiting on him. I'm like, why y'all even allow this media coverage? That's how you keep the NFL in a conversation when basketball is picking up. Good idea, D. Johnson. Yes. Thank you, 400 Circle Media. I appreciate you. That was so nice of you. Thank you. Thank you for supporting the channel financially. Members also do the same. And 400 Circle Media is also a member too. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. It said Jerry said this will what? What you saying, Jerry? It says Coach Prime would, let's see, Jerry. I'm trying to see what you're saying here. Let's see. Hey, Regina, welcome back. What are you saying here, Jerry? It says, thinly, Coach Prime would. This will. Okay, I think you're. I don't know if you texting on a mobile, but it didn't quite come out clear. So let me know what you're trying to say, Jerry. I appreciate you. And thank you, 400 Circle Media. So essentially, we got a lot going on. We got Shedeur and Geno linking up. Y'all let me know your thoughts in the comments. Like, what does this say to you that these two would link up? After we get all of this negativity about Shedeur, we still have a little over a month until the draft. CU Pro Day coming up. But to me, this is about the negativity that was put out there. This does the same thing that Shedeur working out with Cam Moore did at UNLV. So let me know your thoughts about that. And is anyone planning to go to either Big 12 Pro Day in Dallas? Like, is anybody even close to Dallas to just pop over there? Like, anybody in the area? This will help shut up the haters. Yes, Regina. That's what we were saying. This will help shut up the haters. Let me know if anybody is anybody in the area planning on stopping by the Star? It's open to the public where y'all could just pop in on the Big 12 Pro Day. Let me know. I know there'll be some CU content creators that are dedicated to CU that'll likely, that'll likely go over there. But I wanted to see if anybody in our audience will do the same. Hey, fam, how's everyone this evening? Hey, Jackie, how you doing? Welcome back. So this is exciting to me. Starting off with Coach Prime with his overalls that have, the buff on them. But then, they say Prime at the same time. And somebody had on a jacket that Coach Prime liked in his press conference. And he basically stopped everything and was captivated by the man's jacket. He said, I'm going to copy that. He said, duplicate it and probably going to get the pants too. So, he was very gracious with the reporters, showed them some love. He's always respectful to the women, allowed them to go first, which I like. So there's everything to like about this. And this is a power move, in my opinion. It makes it harder for CU to try not to sign Coach Prime, because you got to be crazy. You know Syracuse coming to Colorado for 3 days. It's some money somewhere for the city. And I'm pretty sure, I don't think Colorado has its own hotel on the campus. Like I know U of H does. But, and congratulations to U of H for knocking off Colorado in the Big 12 NCAA tournament. So I don't know if Boulder has its own hotel on the property. Let me know if they do. If so, that's where they're going to stay. If not, they're going to be in the community. And that's bringing money in to the community, because I don't know where the opposing teams stay if there's no, hotel on the campus. So let me know your thoughts there, guys. And then for those of you that's just now joining, we talked about the Star. That this is the Star in Dallas. This is a night view. This tall structure over here to the right is the Omni Hotel. Like I said, there's shopping. There's a gym that's open to the public that's supposed to mimic, I guess, where the Cowboys work out. I don't know what they're doing in free agency. I know there's a lot of talk about the whole Michael Parsons thing and how people feel about what Michael Parsons said rather than what some of the other men are saying. But somebody going to Dallas. I feel like CeeDee Lamb still in Dallas? Is he still in Dallas? So, I don't know what's going on there. But the Big 12 Pro Day is there this week. And if anybody's going to be in the area, Frisco, Texas, which is 55 miles from the Oklahoma state line or just outside of Dallas, let me know if you're gonna be there. Let me see who they say actually gonna work out, because I already had it open to the section. So let's see if we can clarify some things. Here it is right here. Says, in addition to the nationally televised workouts and interviews, they're gonna have interviews on the field. Oh, that's good. That's gonna be nice. Big 12 Pro Day will feature the return of the All-State Institute. I never heard of that, which offers robust programming in dynamic leadership, branding, and mental health to help prepare these future NFL athletes for life on and off the field. Excellent. The second annual All-State Women and Girls in Football Day will also return with a free clinic for Dallas-Fort Worth youth who are interested in growing their flag football skills. I told y'all, flag football is making its way up the ranks. They had already started several years ago with the youth. I understand that the Pro Bowl was replaced tackle for flag. Alabama State University, who is also in the NCAA tournament, and in my opinion, quite progressive, has the first women's flag football team that's competitive. I don't know if it's maybe just HBCUs or on the D1 level or who they will be playing, but they adopted it as well. So it's making its way to the college ranks. And now that we see like the 7-on-7 tournaments, like Cam Newton's that's actually happening this weekend in Auburn, where he went to school, featuring who? Travis Hunter's brother, who I refer to as the next 12. And I think Travis wearing the number 12 shows just how much he loves and admires his brother. So I like that symbolism, because he could have picked another number. He could have picked 21. They could have been 12 and 21, but he wanted to wear the same number his big brother wears, and I love that. I absolutely love it. So they'll be in Auburn. So everybody making their own motion. That's what's really happening here. You get to see that the Prime effect is just not about people coming to Boulder for a home game. Because there are people who think, oh, we can get people to the home game. Yeah, but this week in Boulder, while all of this is happening, there's also Nike, not Coach Prime or Colorado. Nike is hosting an elite high school coach symposium, like a clinic for elite high school coaches, which ties into what? Recruiting. Because we recruit. Remember we said they're recruiting from high schools this year, a little more. I think the numbers are 17 from the portal, 14 from high schools. And then we have this Nike sponsored elite high school coach clinic at CU. They get to go to all of the team meetings for CU. So you get to emulate and learn from Power 5 coaches, if you attended this, and I saw the flowers and the arrangements and how nice everything looked, I'm like, this is excellent. Coach Prime actually talked about how that relationship with those coaches that are there feeds into recruiting, which is my white seed. Maybe that's why we're going to see more high school recruits, 17 and 14 respectively. I like it. That's business. That's good business. And to me, that's what Coach Prime does. I already knew they had clinics coming up for players, several dates in June, in July at CU. I didn't know anything about this coaches thing until I saw the sign today. And imagine if you a high school coach. Let's take that coach that I told y'all from Grayson High School. The gentleman that was 30 years old, took his team to the state, what do they call it? The Georgia High School State Championship. That's what they call it here. Georgia High School State Championship. Not only did he take his team in his first year to this state championship, they won. They beat Carrollton. And Carrollton beat Buford. And I told y'all the quarterback for Buford, which was opposite Juju School, Carrollton, was the guy who was the quarterback for Nebraska. That's his little brother. So, it's a lot of connections here. A lot of connections to be made with all of these, people coming together, and Coach Prime bringing the high school coaches to Boulder. Imagine you get to go to this, it was spring break too for a lot of schools, so the coaches could go. You want to move up to the next level, you go into these guys' meetings, it might help you to more professionally run your high school football program, or it might encourage you at some point to move up to the next level. I mean, we are really going from innovation and events from month to month, because believe me, after CU host, after the Big 12, that Coach Prime said he's going to try to get down there, Big 12 Pro Day to support the players who are going. Eventually, I'm going to find out who it is. He said that we're going from that to CU's Pro Day. That's going to be huge. I don't know who is over setting that up. Could be the young lady that introduced herself as the director of operations. Then we're going from that to the NFL draft. We're going to watch our guys get drafted about 2.5 weeks after Pro Day. So we go from April 4th to April 24th. And then Pro Day, first week of April. Then April 19th, Syracuse comes to town and they play a competitive spring game. Then on the 24th, we go to the NFL draft. Our guys get drafted. That's huge for us. Coach Prime said we got several guys being drafted. And then after that, who knows what's going to happen between April 24th, after the draft, after the spring game, and the clinics that they're hosting down in June or July. I mean, they're just going to be working until they get ready for Georgia Tech. But I'm sure there's some other things that's going to pop up as well that, we don't have privy to, but it's a lot going on. It's a lot going on. And after our guys get drafted, then somebody is going to follow them. I don't know who it is. Somebody going to do a day in the life. Then we're going to have that to see. Because right after the draft, there's something called a developmental camp for QBs. I don't know if Shedeur will go. Maybe it's for all QBs. This is before you get to rookie mini training camp. Before that, and then there's a big camp. So it just goes and goes and goes. It's like football is year round now. Football is year round, and there are a lot of innovative events. Some I feel like Coach Prime has brought to the arena. You just gotta love it. You just gotta love it. So yeah, it's a lot of news. It's a lot of news right now. This will help shut up the haters. It will. It say, hey fam, how's everything going? We doing pretty good. Thank you, 400 Circle Media. It says, you at your baby's soccer game. Oh, that's nice. Okay. That's nice. You should go to the community tab for this page and post, you can post a picture there and we all can see it. So if you feel like it, you can. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. That's nice. And good luck. How old is your baby, by the way? 400 Circle Media, how old is your baby? Good networking opportunity. Exactly. And imagine that you get these coaches up to the high school, right? And then you want to recruit one of these players. You already got a relationship. You don't have to go try to forge a relationship out of thin air. And that's what this does. And that also could be why we do see an uptick or more high school recruiting, and it's true. To put Colorado against Syracuse, when you hear me say that these schools are about equally yoked when it comes to football, imagine that you got like Cater got an offer from both. Imagine you get a offer from both of them and you watch the spring game. You probably excited. Or you watch the spring game, then you get an offer from both of them, because I don't know how that timing works. I know they said after the spring game, the portal will open again. So I don't know when high school players get their offers. It could have been back in November. I don't know how this goes. If you do, drop some insight as to when the next group of high schoolers will get offers from, these football programs. I'm thinking this the signing day is tied all into that. So maybe the fall of next year. 17 ranked goalkeeper at Alabama 4A. Really? Oh, in high school. Okay. All right, y'all. Let's show some love. 400 Circle Media. The Alabama 4A seems like high school. Okay. A goalkeeper in soccer. That's pretty good. Okay. Well, hopefully we'll get to see some pictures. That'll be nice. That'll be really nice. Congratulations on that too. So what's the plan for after high school when you play soccer? Are you trying to go to a league right away? You want to go to another program? I don't know how that works. Feel free to share whatever you want to share. I've been to an Atlanta United game. I believe it is their season. If you have the opportunity to go, the atmosphere is amazing. And the soccer is pretty good. Soccer is pretty good. And black. Okay. Okay. Thank you for that. And D. Johnson say, who is going to be the starting QB? Where are you talking about, D. Johnson? Are you talking about Shedeur and Geno? Is that what you're talking about, the starting QB? Or are you talking about Colorado? Because we don't know for Colorado for sure. We don't know about Vegas either. Let me know exactly who you're talking about when you say who is going to be the starting QB. I'm sure there'll be a lot of conversation from the media. They can't hate anymore. They can't pit them together, but they can speculate. That's all they can do is speculate. But, like people say, well, Geno Smith has a 1-year contract. All of that hoopla they were making, talking about Vegas has found its QB of the future, and the man had a 1-year contract. See how they go out of their way to be hateful? No 1-year contract with a 3rd round pick is not the quarterback of the future. It seems to me that these teams are trying to set it up where these young guys got to compete rather than just be named QB1. Think about Michael Penix Jr. Now, I watched Michael Penix Jr. last year. He got drafted, then they turned around and signed Kirk Cousins, right? They didn't make them compete. I watched Michael Penix Jr. in camp. He, what they call like preseason or whatever. He did good. Everybody talked about how well he did. They didn't make them compete. They just named Kirk Cousins the starter. So it seems like what they're trying to do, and it's probably because the NFL is split. Like I said, you got some people saying Cam Ward is going to the Titans, and I'm assuming they expect him to start. But then they got Shedeur going to the Giants, and they don't expect him to start. You see what I'm saying? So I think I think the league is kind of torn. I say the league is kind of in a tug of war situation where some people want to progress and let these young guys start, and some people want to hold on to the old guard and bench these young guys for 2 years or a year or two behind somebody else. And that's what they tried to do in Atlanta, and it failed. And then here comes Jaden Daniels to show you that these guys don't need to sit. They don't need to sit and develop. This is a way for those veteran QBs who have the look that they prefer to stick around longer. Like the whole Aaron Rodgers situation is ridiculous. Aaron Rodgers is 41. Nobody wanted him. And now he's the holdup on where Russ will go. You see how that works? And I had no problem with posting. And I think over 100 people liked it on Threads. I said, they're trying to blackball Russ and block him from a QB1 position. The 3 teams that he's supposedly in consideration for is the Steelers, and the Giants and Cleveland. But Cleveland didn't make him an offer. I heard the Giants didn't make him an offer. So don't sound like he's in contention in any of those, right? So the Giants said they were frustrated waiting on Aaron Rodgers. So to me, they made Aaron Rodgers an offer. And I noticed the media was trying to swing it earlier today, by saying, well, it seems that the Steelers have a less expensive option than Aaron Rodgers. What it's given is anybody but Russ. That's what it's given. They are trying their best to block him from QB1. And if the other two teams that he interviewed with, the Browns and the Browns and the Giants, don't offer him, we talked yesterday on our podcast that it forces him back to the Steelers. And now they're like, well, we're thinking of going to get Flacco. Where has he been? I'm like, where has Joe Flacco been? So they're thinking of getting him as a less expensive alternative to Aaron Rodgers, which sounds like Aaron Rodgers prefers to go to the Giants or some other team like the Browns. I don't know what it comes down to for him. He's been in the league a long time. He still wanted to play. I don't think he wanted to leave the Jets. It seems like they're laying out the red carpet for somebody that nobody wanted, all to block Russ. That's really what it is. Nobody's going to talk about it, but it's true. They already exhausted the conversation that it doesn't make sense for Aaron Rodgers to be forced on people, and Russ is actually a better quarterback. Even with that conversation making its way last week through certain networks, it still died. And everything is about waiting for somebody that nobody wanted to make a decision on where Russ will go. So whatever Aaron decides pushes Russ in a particular situation. Funny how it's not up to Russ when it should be. Why doesn't he get a choice? Because they're trying to blackball him after the NFL was found guilty of collusion. And they don't talk about that either. Oh, you talking about Colorado. D. Johnson, who will be the starting QB in Colorado? We don't know. We suspect that after the spring game, even if it was a black and gold inter-squad game, that Coach Prime would name a QB. He was asked, what is he looking for in a QB? He said leadership. He said college football teams don't get to huddle a lot. So he's looking for how they lead with their eyes, how the receiver picks it up. So it's not just about the mechanics. It's not just about the skill. It's about the leadership. So we're going to see who that is. I've watched Caden throw some more. I mean, they both good quarterbacks in my opinion. The question is, which one is the better leader? And I know Juju's high school games were packed out. He went to the Georgia High School State Championship. So that was at Mercedes-Benz. So he should be fine under the pressure in the light. But in my opinion, Caden has the experience. And what I'm looking for in a quarterback is that QB that doesn't get frazzled when things that are unexpected pop up, because it's going to happen. If you get sacked 3 times, make sure you still in the game, that the players can't read your face and realize you have given up, that you have the ability to corral your team and they naturally gravitate towards you for the next move. One of the things about Shedeur, that when they played and they were down and he was getting sacked, the Baylor game is always a game to go back to because they won that game. He was just unflappable. And the moment he realized the pressure keep coming from the right, where number 67 was, he got the hell out of there, rolled to the left, threw that ball to LeJounte, who, y'all know, caught it, scooped it up, and caught it in such a manner that they scored. He didn't catch it in a way that they couldn't see. It was inconclusive, and it was up to the refs. And I remember the commentators, the last 2 minutes, wow, I wish I could show that. It is so exciting. One of the guys told the other ones, he said, do you need another look at it? After LeJounte caught the ball, he said, I don't need another look at it. He said, it's clear as day. I don't need another look at it. And you didn't. The way he caught that ball like that, where they could see, and he knew how to put his hands, that's why LeJounte, in my opinion, is also a steal of the draft. Jimmy Horn Jr. is, and so is LeJounte. So is Will Shepherd. You know, with his body able to leap. I saw this guy today from Syracuse, and the way, and he was tall like Will Shepherd. He got a good size. It was given almost like a DJ McKinney mixed up with a Will Shepherd in this guy. And they threw the ball just outside of where you thought he could reach. And the way his body stretched out with his feet angled probably at about a maybe 45-degree angle. And he stretched out to catch that ball. That's determination. He could have went, oh, it's too far. He wasn't even running. He was gliding in the air. And I wanted to post it, but I was like, well, I want to talk about, Colorado first. So maybe tomorrow. Because CU had their pro day. Syracuse had their pro day today. I don't know who this guy is. And that was another thing. I didn't even know who it was. I needed to do some research because I think it's in my phone. I just don't know who it is. And it's one hell of a catch, but it was given Will Shepherd. So, we had an elite wide receiver core for a reason. But we also had a quarterback that was a leader and a dog, in my opinion. He was both. And he was unflappable. So that's what I'm looking for. And experience kind of gives you that. And when you watch Caden played football the way Travis played football. Outside in the backyard. Everything goes. When it comes to trying to get this ball, it's not just about the mechanics. It's not just about, the steps. It's about doing whatever it takes to make the play. That's how Caden plays. If I can find some highlights of his that are, I'm able to share, we're going to have to sit down and look at it. This young man, what we have seen from him is nothing. It's just controlled pocket passing. This young man is a dog. So we looking for leadership, and I'm looking for unflappable. That's what I'm looking for. Shedeur left some big shoes to fill, and I think Caden feels like he can get it done, and he's hungry. He wants to make a name for himself because he wants to go to the league. Yes, the NFL is messing with Russ. Yes, D. Johnson. Yes, that's obvious, and nobody will talk about it. The media hate Russ too. Sadly, they playing in Russ's face. Yep, and you see how they doing Shedeur. You see how they doing Russ. When they said Shedeur was plummeting, what somebody was actually trying to say was the Steelers was interested in Shedeur. And I actually did a poll on, I don't know, some of y'all might have actually completed the poll where I asked who was a good quarterback for QB1 for the Steelers. Let me see if I can find it. Surprisingly, guess who people picked? I had Shedeur listed. I had Cam Ward listed because they're the top 1 and 2, right? And of course, I had Russ listed, right? People pick Russ. Even I put Shedeur on there twice because I was basically trying to prove a point. And nobody picked the last option, which was Shedeur the second time. But first place was Russ, second place was Shedeur, and third place was Cam. So the Steelers fans basically sitting on pins and needles because they hoping when they look to see who their QB1 is, who's throwing the DK Metcalf. They hoping it's Russ. They don't want it to be Aaron Rodgers. Now, I hope it's not. I hope it's Russ. I really do. But with them coming out talking about Flacco, anybody know where Joe Flacco been since where he's coming from, his house, or is he coming from another team? Somebody let me know. Kiel, if you know, Jerry, Regina, Gracie, Darlene, D. Johnson, anybody. Jerry, y'all let me know. Where is Flacco coming from that they feel like is he coming from the house? Or is he coming from a team where he's been playing and starting and they getting ready to make a move? Those are the things that I want to know. So, I don't know. But they definitely hating on Russ. And I wish somebody would talk about it. And it's funny, after Ryan Clark defended Shedeur, they came for him. And he's not going to back down because his son, who goes to Notre Dame, had experienced some racism. So, when you have a child that went through that, you're not backing down. Just like Coach Prime not backing down off praying, Ryan Clark is not backing down on calling it out. And he called it out for Shedeur. I've heard nobody call it out for Russ. And it's obvious that's what it is. No other team was looking for Aaron Rodgers. Maybe the Giants for obvious reasons. But it's like, I feel like somebody's in Aaron Rodgers' ear trying to tell him, okay, look, we got you, these people to consider you, because he didn't want to leave the Giants. So somebody worked some magic and got teams to make him an offer, even though, including Pittsburgh, even though January 30th, Pittsburgh said they wanted Russ to come back, even though they got DK Metcalf. So I feel like they were forced into it. We talked about that. So if they forced into it, why is everything? That's how you know they playing in Russ' face, because it's up to the decision is not being made by Russ. It was said that Russ said to the Giants, okay, to Cleveland, okay, that means he know he being played. He didn't resist either one. He said yeah to all the offers. So he know what's going on. That's how you move when you know somebody trying to block you. You don't give them an edge. You go, I'm open or whatever. Like, okay, so who they let make the decision? Don't think somebody not in his ear telling them for the good of somebody, not the league, not the players, but for the good of probably the good old boy network, or us, defeating Russ on this, because his name was on this collusion thing. Why don't you go ahead on and take this offer right here? Don't think that's not happening. But it is also said that Aaron Rodgers is like not a diva, not cocky, but somewhere in between. You know what I mean? Like whatever is in between. Oh, arrogant. There it is. So he's arrogant. So essentially he's arrogant. And if he's arrogant, he's not going to take too kindly to somebody telling him, I need you to go to Pittsburgh, if he don't like what Pittsburgh got on the table. And I can't imagine what that is. Maybe it's, we want you to come here and be QB2. Pittsburgh has done everything to build around Russ being the QB throwing to DK Metcalf. Tell me I'm wrong. And nobody's discussing it. Number 2 is tough. He don't get shook. He's poised. Yeah, he's built for it. He's built for it. And Caden gives me that. I'm not saying Juju's not. I just see Caden having the experience at the college level. Some people might think that don't matter, just like what we talking about with the NFL. That the new guys coming in don't have the experience at the NFL level, and people want them to sit, and then there's Jada Daniels and CJ Stroud and this, that, and the other, and we want Shedeur to start. We expect him to start. I expect Cam Ward to start. I don't know where he's going, but I expect him to start. So it could be like that, but that's just how I feel. That's just how I feel. District championship, 9 touches, 3 TDs. What was that? It says Roger wants Minnesota, but I'm not sure if they want him. Okay, so I heard Rodgers associated with Minnesota. I did. Because, okay, remember we talked about the clearinghouse. It started with Sam Darnold getting $100 million from, when I said I don't understand why. And I want y'all to think about this. Why, if Aaron Rodgers is a possibility up there, because he is, why would they not pay Sam Darnold and he stay put? And they had a good, 14-3? So it don't make sense unless Sam Darnold just don't like Minnesota. And he like, you know what, I could come back here, but I don't want to. I don't understand if he was 14-3. What are you gambling on? Is it JJ McCarthy? And now the announcers are coming out to my he too young to start. I'm like, what? He 22. Why is he too young to start? How old is Jada Daniels? So they are already trying to put the muzzle on the JJ McCarthy starting. But it does not make any sense other than they trying to put certain QBs on certain teams. That's the only thing is given. Because unless Donald didn't like Minnesota, he preferred the weather in Seattle where it rained. It ain't making no sense, because now you going to try to get Aaron Rodgers? How much money you think he gonna want? You see what I'm saying? And then, so is it about a cheaper option? And then you had Daniel Jones, and then they shipped him off. And Daniel Jones being shipped off meant you got to go get somebody else. And the somebody else is Aaron Rodgers. And is Aaron Rodgers going to sit behind JJ McCarthy? No. Heck no. He going to start. And who do you want to start in Minnesota if you had to choose between Sam Darnold and Aaron Rodgers? Drop it in the chat. This is our scenario. If you have to pick a QB to start in Minnesota, who would you rather it be? Sam Darnold or Aaron Rodgers? If it ain't JJ McCarthy, I'm going to ask that question in the poll, but I just want y'all to tell me, because that's what I mean, that this don't make no sense. It seems like they're trying to put people in certain places. And we talked about how, the majority black quarterback and how, it ends up with the 4 players, being Baltimore. And let's just say, last year was supposed to be 4, except for tight end drop ball. It's supposed to be 4 black quarterbacks, right? Let's just focus on that. If it's not Baltimore, who else would it be coming out of that division, that conference? If it's not Baltimore, who else would it be? Pick the team and let me know. I would have to look at who's in their division. I don't know. If it's not Baltimore, who else would it be? Is that the Bills? Is that what the Bills coming at? Would it be anybody besides the Bills? What other team would it be besides the Bills? If the Bills went up against Baltimore and it comes down to those 2, who else would it be if it's not the Bills? Who else would it be if it's not Baltimore? And look at who their QBs are. That's how people who actually see the chess that's being played to block Russ, prevent Shedeur from starting, possibly prevent Cam from starting, even though they hadn't said it. Probably get Melrose drafted, but not let him start. They trying to move Jackson Dart up to the first round. To go where? I haven't heard him, he going to the Titans. He going to Cleveland. He going to the Giants. I haven't heard him go nowhere other than, he's going in the first round. Okay, must be going to the Saints. They got to pick. Unless he's going to the Giants and they're going to start him over Justin Fields. They just gave Justin Fields $30 million. And Atlanta had to give Kirk Cousins another $10 million. We're not going to have no money for nothing else. Another guaranteed $10 million. Because he's still on the roster. If they had traded him, he wouldn't get it. The black QBs don't have these problems. They don't have these problems. They don't get it like that. So, I don't know, It's one of those things, it seems like, just do what you got to do to block Russ. That's what's going on with Aaron Rodgers. All of the hatred towards Shedeur, with Shedeur being shown here with Geno, just kind of silences that. Now you got to go. You can't pit them. See, that's the thing. With them together, you can't pit them together. They're not strangers. They know each other. Just like Cam and Shedeur. And you notice they stopped trying to pit them together. Now, when they went to the combine, somebody tried to get Cam Ward, catch him slipping. I'm sure he probably learned. But you're not going to get Geno Smith slipping. Why? He already been through it. He was with the Giants for a year. He was with the Jets for like 3. Then he went to the Chargers. Then he go to Seattle, and they say Pete Carroll revived his career. Is it that his career was revived, or he finally went to a decent team? The perspective matters. Geno Smith revived his career. Stephen A. Smith says he's an A+ above average QB. He didn't revive his career. He went to a good team. Have you heard anybody say the Giants aren't a good team? It said the NFL made what? Oh, hold on one second. Oh, okay, I'm trying to catch up to these comments. It said Roger wants Minnesota, but I am not sure if Minnesota wants him. Minnesota might not have a choice. If they trying to block JJ McCarthy from starting, it's gonna be Aaron Rodgers. And then that's why they're talking about. That's why Joe Flacco has entered the chat. I need to see where he coming from. Who he played with. Did anybody tell me what's going on with him? Oh, from his house. Okay, thank you, D. Johnson. Thank you. Okay, so now let's get this. Apparently, there's some faction of the league analysts who have their ear that want to block JJ McCarthy from starting. Now, JJ McCarthy played with Minnesota last year, right? And he didn't play. Was he hurt or something? And that's where Sam Darnold comes in. Sam Darnold goes to Seattle. Then you think it's going to be JJ McCarthy and Daniel Jones. But then Daniel Jones gets sent to Indianapolis to compete with who? Anthony Richardson, who was quietly minding his business up there in Indianapolis. And I know he had a backup quarterback because they didn't play one QB last year. And I haven't watched their games to see what their issues are. Probably guess, but that's another podcast. I'm not going to be quiet about this. Pay attention to the mistakes of these tight ends and these O-lines when it comes to these black quarterbacks. I want you to pay attention to that when we go into next season. Don't forget, Russ was not the only black veteran quarterback central to that collusion case. So was Lamar Jackson. I guess we keep our eye on Kyler Murray. We might need to see what's going on there. I mean, people are not stupid. They know you got to spread it out. You got to make it look like it's not what it is. So if all of a sudden Kyler Murray O-line is just inefficient, or they said they was going to build around. They said they was going to build around Kyler Murray. So I'm going to have to see. I don't ever hear, just like I don't hear about Anthony Richardson, I don't hear about Kyler Murray. So I don't know if it's because where I'm located geographically, and it could be the market. I'm going to have to pay attention. And I think it was Coach Dre that was in our chat for a little bit that put us on to Anthony Richardson, even more so because he knew him personally. I knew who he was because I saw where he was drafted. He was top 4 QBs in his draft. Pay attention to these tight ends. Pay attention to who actually are the tight ends, who are the O-linemen. Pay attention to the mistakes that they make, and pay attention to who the mistakes happen with. All right, so that's that. That's something for us to keep, because during the season we go live during the game. So, we probably gonna be talking about these things. That's my theory. Just like we seeing Russ being blocked by some people that we can't see, which means they above. If Aaron Rodgers, if nobody wanted Aaron Rodgers and suddenly teams are having to make him an offer, that tells y'all it's somebody above ownership pay grade. It's somebody above ownership pay grade meddling. So who will be meddling if Lamar Jackson getting to the next level? Who will be meddling with Russ being blocked? It's not a coincidence 2 out of the 3 quarterbacks in that NFL found guilty of collusion case are those 2 guys, and we saw what happened to Lamar. Said Rodgers wants Minnesota. Okay, we shall see. That might be why Flacco coming in. D. Johnson say Flacco coming from his house. Okay, see, now what does that tell you? You got Russ who could go back to Pittsburgh. They do not want Russ in Pittsburgh, not even as QB2. He just got to be elsewhere. Okay, let's be honest. They don't even have no quarterbacks. Justin Fields is gone. Why you don't hear them saying, okay, Russ, you could come back as QB2? I'm going to tell you why. And I'm talking about the Steelers. Because he was already QB2 and Justin Fields got benched and Russ became QB1. So they can't, whoever it is, they like, we can't trust him. We can't trust sending Russ back as QB2, even though we don't want him to be QB1. If he go to QB2 to the Steelers, he just going to end up QB1 and they going to make a run for it and he going to win. And that's not what they want. So they want him to go to Cleveland. I don't know why, because they just got Kenny Pickett. So what, they going to make Kenny Pickett QB1? Or they going to draft somebody? Then the Giants, we know how they get down. I don't see Russ being QB1. And then there's Minnesota. The only person he blocking there is J.J. McCarthy. And J.J. McCarthy fits the theory of young quarterbacks. Just the young part. So Aaron Rodgers needs to go home with Joe Flacco, or he need to go to Joe Flacco's house and they can watch the game from the house. Neither one of them needs to play. This is about the old guard trying to stay alive and well because they've been around so long. They've been around the league so long that when they started with the league, Warren Moon probably got sent to Canada. I'm not lying. When they started with the league, Michael Vick probably was an Atlanta Falcon. And then they start seeing people like Geno Smith come in and they do everything they can, sending him to bad teams. Well, that can't work all the time. Because even when you send these guys to bad teams, like Jada Daniels, and people thought Jada Daniels was going to fail because he went to Washington. They said Jada Daniels or Caleb Williams, one of them going to fail. And the guy said, if I had to pick, Jaden Daniels is going to fail, even though Caleb went to Chicago. He said because Jaden Daniels went to Washington. Jaden Daniels was the difference maker in Washington, so they can't just, let's send them to bad teams. Now we see them trying to block Shedeur and only send him to the Giants because they know he ain't going to start. They don't even talk about Shedeur going to the Browns. We do. We cool with it. Why they don't want that? They want to be Russ. Why would it even be Russ? They don't even make sense. They don't even have that kind of money. I mean, I know they got money to shop with. We talking about that. They got that kind of money. So you're not going to use your 11 picks to draft a QB. That's what you saying. You're going to get Russ and have Kenny Pickett in the back or Russ. Do you think they really want Russ as QB1 in Cleveland? No, they don't want him QB1 nowhere. So that means they're going to force what? Kenny Pickett into the third spot or the first spot? What you going to do with those 11 picks? You mean to tell me you got 11 picks and you not getting a QB? All right. Like they say, the Browns don't get scammed out of their pick. And it sounds like that's what it's on its way to. Because they have 11 picks. They could literally get an offense or a defense. With an offense with a QB. But now, all of a sudden, they got to look at Russ. And they didn't make Russ no offer. So, yeah, he need to go home. And Flacco need to stay there. NFL mad because Russ got that money from that contract from Denver. That too. But to me, they were mad with him because of that collusion case that we didn't know nothing about at the time. So they used the contract to kick him and mistreat him because they were upset. It's not just about the money. It's about he had the audacity, along with two other black QBs that are veterans, to say that the NFL was colluded and they were found guilty. Nobody talks about that. That is why hasn't anybody on any of these network shows, these big box shows, or even these small ones, why haven't any of them said, well, you know, I kind of wonder if the NFL is holding a grudge against Russell Wilson because he was central to that, them being found guilty of collusion. We said it. Nobody else has said it. But clearly there's something going on here. And you mean to tell me nobody that sits at any of these desks is wondering that they could say it out loud? Caden is an instinctive player. I think he's short. So I think he starts. Oh, you're talking about Caden? Okay. You think Caden starts? Okay. Flacco's current team is the Colts. Okay, so he's in Indianapolis. Okay, now get this. Daniel Jones leaves Minnesota. Goes to Indianapolis on a $14 million prove me contract. Prove yourself contract, as if he didn't prove himself already. He has to compete with Anthony Richardson. That's where Flacco is. And now Flacco is going to leave there and possibly go to the Steelers. So they're bringing people from the second and third depth chart areas, trying to force them into QB1. I don't know how ownership or GM executive in Pittsburgh, I would be like, look, I get it. We share money, but we want to win. And we're in a position to win. And now that the Steelers are in the position to win and can win with Russ, they blocking it. So the Steelers have to ask the same question Lamar Jackson have to ask. Do you really want me to win? Do you really want me to win? You willing to take down and erase all the efforts that we put together to get in position because you got a grudge against Russ? Or you really got a grudge against my team? I don't think they have a grudge against the Steelers. I think at all costs, we blocking Russ. And the Steelers, you're going to have to go along with it. Salute to what she said. Hey, Blue Devil. It said he coming from his couch at his house. Okay, Kiel. Jerry said he in Indianapolis. You say he coming from home. I need y'all to confer. Let me know where he coming from. Wherever he coming from, he need to go back there. Need to go back there. It said he played for the Colts last year. Oh, okay. All right. It said the bad man, Aaron Rodgers, Stephen A. voice. Oh, okay. Okay, Blue Devil. It says, I think teams want Russell as a backup, and he's not doing that. They don't want Russ on nobody's team, but they know they got to pay him, which goes into who just said about that contract. Denver. That was D. Johnson. So yeah, that's part of it. That's part of it. But ultimately, it's this collusion case. It said these old guys need to know when to walk away. Father Time is undefeated. Right. And I do believe that Aaron Rodgers, I know he didn't want to leave the Jets because they talked about it. He wanted to stay and they was like, no, they moving on. Now, in the business world, you like, this dude is 41. It wasn't good here. Didn't nobody want him. The fact that other teams are even talking about this is they have been forced into this. That in itself is collusion. You see how rampant collusion is in the NFL? Trying to force a team to take Aaron Rodgers when nobody said, hey, let me talk to you. Look at what happened to Matthew Stafford. When it came up that he could possibly walk from the Rams, what happened? His own team was like, you could go talk to him, but we expect you to be a Ram. That was, we value you. The Jets, it was even printed out. The Jets' priority is landing Matthew Stafford. And then what did you hear after they said that? Oh, Tom Brady in Vegas is colluded. And I got in my feelings because I'm like, aren't you supposed to be getting Shedeur? So why are you cheating on Shedeur with Matthew Stafford and you trying to talk to him and nobody know? Who you think told? The Giants. The Giants. They saw Matthew Stafford and they was like, yes. Because they don't want to draft a young quarterback. To be honest with you, giving Aaron Rodgers a 1-year contract with the Giants works for them. You know why? Who coming out of college next year in the 2026 draft? Who goes to UT? Last name is Manning. Right. You think the Giants don't want to draft the Mannings? Not sure if the Mannings will allow it, but I'm sure they're going to have some things to say about who working there. I believe that. I've said that before. Aaron Rodgers with the Giants makes a lot of sense because I know that they want to draft. If they didn't want to draft Jackson Dart, that's why. They're like, I just want somebody for a year. They already set their sights on 2026. The Titans could be as well. The Titans might be like, you know what? I know we got the first pick, but we're gonna go ahead on and sell that. We entertaining some offers for it. And people like, why on earth would you do that? Why wouldn't you get a generational talent in Travis Hunter? Why wouldn't you get Cam Ward? The fans, that's who they want. The fans in Tennessee say they will revolt if Will Levis is still their starting QB. They willing to risk it, sell off their picks, because they might need a lot, but I know why. If they sorry next year, maybe they got a first early round pick from next year from a previous draft. They also could be vying for Archie Manning. But not even before the season start. That's what people going to be trying to predict. And you think the Giants don't want that? So the Giants going to, Aaron Rodgers going to the Giants for 1 year makes sense. All of this Steelers nonsense, it really don't even make sense. Because you can see who they putting around Russ. And it's true. If he don't get a job nowhere else, he got to go back to the Steelers because the NFL owe him money. And he got to play somewhere. And they know they don't want him to start. You're right. Whoever said they want him to be QB2, correct. They know he got to go somewhere. And they don't even want him to be QB2. If they told him in a contract, you got to be QB2 in Pittsburgh, oh, wait a minute. We already did that. And he ended up as QB1. And they almost got there. And now that they changing out some pieces and they paying good money to get people, and they have secured players who make it exciting, fans are interested, nobody knows who the QB is when they got Russ right there. Because they waiting on Aaron Rodgers, who could go to Minnesota. So maybe let's consider Joe Flacco. I don't think the Steelers are doing the choosing here. I think something is being forced upon them so Russ doesn't go back there as QB1 again, rinse and repeat, and become QB2, rinse and repeat and become QB1. That's really what it is. You think black QBs gotta be a union in the NFL? That'll never happen. That'll never happen. That will never happen. It said the owners and the GMs are behind all of this. Oh, I believe it. But I don't think it's the Steelers. I know the Steelers wanted Russ because I read it with my own 2 eyes. DK Metcalf tells you that. That tells you everything you need to know. Seattle didn't even want to let go of Geno Smith or DK Metcalf. But after some conversations, some personal conversations, he's a Steeler. And Russ was a lock for it. So I don't think the Steelers have no choice. I'm telling you, I said as the season was ending, it appears to me that Mike Tomlin is under pressure to get, the season was barely over before they said Mike Tomlin needs to get rid of Justin Fields and Russ. So he's supposed to get rid of both of his quarterbacks? Really? That's why Justin Fields got out of there. He knows that they're not making these decisions. He understands what's going on and why these decisions are being made, and he ain't trying to get caught up in it. They are trying to force him out of the NFL, right? He said he wanted to play 5 to 7 years. Over they dead body, they ain't gonna let that happen. They don't even want, they were like, look, we gotta pay you, so you're gonna go be QB2 somewhere. Why isn't it good enough for him to be QB2 in Pittsburgh? Because he already was, and he ascended to QB1. So now I gotta put you somewhere that can't happen. The Giants is the only place that ain't gonna happen unless all the quarterbacks they got on the roster pass out on the field and cart it off in an ambulance. And they're gonna have to forfeit a game. So this is about Russ, and nobody's talking about it, but it's obvious that that's what's happening here. And now that it seems that Aaron Rodgers could possibly land in Minnesota, which he might be excited about, because why? He could start over JJ McCarthy, because their analysts are already saying he's too young to start. I know JJ McCarthy like, how old is Jaden Daniels? I know he is. He probably like, how old is CJ Stroud? He probably like, what? But what he gonna do? Everybody's not willing to speak out. Everybody's not willing to say or go on the record to say, if you're not willing to change the culture or the coaching, don't draft me. There are people that saw how Shedeur was being treated, and they're not gonna say nothing. That's called intimidation. So we have intimidation and we have collusion. That was already found guilty of collusion. This is one of the biggest cases of collusion, probably even more so than the other one. And it is damaging. So, Rodgers wants to win now, not going to the Giants. He need to go home, bro. Somebody say he need to go home or to the Pat McAfee show and take Daniel Jones and go Joe Flacco, and they all go together. I don't think there's no reason JJ McCarthy cannot start in Minnesota. This is forcing. This is forced. And Aaron Rodgers must be pushing back. That's probably why it's taking so long. Because he don't want to go to the Steelers for whatever reason. He don't want to go there. Because he would have already snapped up their offer. He don't want to go to Cleveland because nobody even talking about it. The only other, I think Cleveland came up today. They didn't even make Russ an offer. The Giants didn't make Russ an offer. It's the Giants or the Steelers. And now that he seemed to be behind the scenes pushing back against who trying to force him into something, Minnesota comes up. Joe Flacco comes up. That's how you know he's pushing back against what's out there. And true, he wants to play and he wants to win. But he don't want to just be put in any situation like they do some of our guys, our black QBs. Oh, we just want you to go here. Like Michael Penix Jr. I mean, that's always the best case scenario. He don't want to end up in that situation. Michael Penix Jr. is drafted, number 9 or something like that? He out here balling at camp in the preseason, but then he gets benched for Kirk Cousins. Like, that was a travesty. A whole season wasted. And then they want him to be the savior at the end of the season. And then they got to pay another $10 million guaranteed to Kirk Cousins. Like, that was a deal that was a waste of time. And this Aaron Rodgers situation could be Kirk Cousins in Atlanta 2.0. It seems like they're happy to pass out money to the QBs that they want to pass out money to, whether they win or lose, because it's not about that. It's about blocking Russ. It's about blocking Shedeur. That's what it becomes about. That's what it becomes about. And then when they can't get their way in the draft, or they can't get their way, let's say Russ ends up back as a Steeler. Now, y'all say Flacco's at home or in Indianapolis somewhere, and he done entered the conversation because it got to be anybody but Russ. Let's say that don't work out. And Russ absolutely has to go back to the Steelers. Let's say the Raiders trade up to number 1 and get Shedeur. The people that's hating on both of them gonna be hating all season long. It's not like they're gonna give up and go, well, we didn't get what we wanted. That's how I feel about it. If Rodgers goes, don't say it, to the Steelers, I'm gonna be like, well, we didn't get what we wanted, and I'm gonna move on. But that's not what they do. They dig 10 toes in, band together as a collective voice to spew hatred until they gone. Hey, Chad, welcome. It's not confirmed yet, but the NCAA have not approved for that to happen yet. Fran Brown just responded to the tweet. If the NCAA has not confirmed and the school have not confirmed, they got to get it approved. I can't believe that Fran Brown would tweet that out to Coach Prime like he don't have no authority. Are you sure about that, Chad? It said Minnesota the best option for Rodgers to win now. Okay, Jerry, I'm going to go with that. Fine, whatever. The Giants is his best location, but for him to win, okay, I'm going to have to take your word at it because I never thought about him winning because I really don't think he should be given another opportunity. It's too much talent out here to be rolling the dice on somebody that was already proven not to be successful at the age of 40 or 41. You think Russ would be in Aaron Rodgers' position holding up everybody at the age of 41? No. He'll probably be out the league before his 38th birthday. Ed Reed coaching at high school. He sure is. He's coaching at Chamblee High School, where his son goes there. So I don't know how he would leave from where his son played. His son is in his last year in high school in Atlanta. Yeah, he goes to Chamblee apparently. Okay, so it's not Ed Reed. Like I said, people were speculating if it was Ed Reed or Terrell Owens. I personally didn't think it was either one of them. Some people thought it was Byron Leftwich. I don't think it's him. They think he might be the QB coach. I don't know. I didn't expect Marshall Faulk, so I don't have any. I don't have any thoughts. I'm like, I'm gonna see who it is when I see who it is, and I'm gonna be surprised because I didn't even know they were still hiring coaches. I thought we had everybody. I did. I thought we were locked to go ahead and get ready for the spring game. So okay, all right. So you say it's not confirmed, Chad? Well, the NCAA is a hater, so. I'm just shocked that Fran Brown would say that out loud because he said definitively we will be there for 3 days. That's not something I think that he would say if he didn't know. Now, I feel like Fran Brown probably has, hold on one second. I feel like Fran Brown probably talked to Syracuse and Syracuse like, sure, I like it. I told you Syracuse and CU, they kind of like the same school a little bit. In terms of the program, probably academics too. So I can't see him knowing he came from Georgia, under Kirby Smart, doing his own thing. I don't see him just saying, yeah, it's up to me, I'ma say it. I see this conversation, okay, just like Denzel happened before our eyes. People talked about that. It came out that Denzel reached out to Coach Prime, and then they made that happen. And I don't know if Coach Prime talked to Rick George. I haven't seen Rick George. He might be on vacation. So I don't know if Coach Prime even needed to speak to Rick George about that. He seems to have a lot of how should I say it, authority to make decisions about hiring this, that, and the other. So I just don't see, but that's Coach Prime. Now, I might not know Fran Brown's personality, but he came from Georgia after Kirby Smart. He is at Syracuse. Their season was kind of quiet in terms of the media. They not on that prime effect level at all. They did good though. I don't see him not talking to Syracuse. I think when he tweeted that out and the definitive number of 3 days, there was a decision made not by him, but by somebody else. But we're going to see, because this could be a novel I'm reading. But he's just a little different. And that, I think he talked to Syracuse. Now, the question is, Even if he talked to Syracuse, and Syracuse like, look here, we good with it. We want that press. Because, see, I think they want it. I told you I follow Syracuse. They put out their posts with their players like we put out with ours. They do that too. They call it the something. Orange Crush or something. I don't know. Something. But I follow them. Cuse football. And I told you I saw their pro day. You know, they put out there their guy was doing good. They not quiet. They not off the internet. They trying to, you know, grab on to what I feel like CU has in terms of that media. Now, maybe they're not out here showing their practices and stuff like that. But I do believe that there are people at Syracuse who is just as excited about the Colorado competitive spring game as I am. Because I see it for what it is, exposure. Not just for the guys on the field. This is good for Syracuse because Syracuse is playing CU and CU is playing on ESPN too. And that means we're going to talk about that from now to the moment they get to town. We know, if not Bucky, somebody on the ground is recording for Well Off Media, the pregame show, Life in Football, Bird's Eye View, Prime to Colorado, David Talk, all these content creators that actually can get on the ground, and they do. And Colorado going to be right there with their cameras pointed at everything CU does to make this a moment. Because this is huge. I don't think he made the decision himself. I think he talked to Syracuse. I would be shocked if he made that decision himself. So thanks for sharing that, but we're going to find out. But that would be a good idea instead of scrimmage against another team. Instead of inter-team scrimmage, yeah, I love it. I think it's innovative. I think it makes sense. It is given, this is Coach Prime. I could be wrong, but it was somebody's idea. And I'm going to go ahead and go with the Prime effect. That's what you get with the Prime effect. When other people are really like, Alabama tomorrow, we're going to cancel our spring game. I was like, what? Not that I was going, but that's kind of crazy. You know, like, why would you do that? Even if it is monotonous to play against, at least it's when you're going to scrimmage. At practice, you need at least one game before your first game to be competitive, to play, to see who's who, to put them in that, I guess, in that environment. It said, is the ACC going to go for that? Well, I think Syracuse made a decision. Now we gonna see what a fall. Now y'all know the fallout gonna come from somewhere. Y'all know the NCAA probably gonna have something to say. Did Coach Prime run it by the NCAA? No. But look at the innovation coming out of the Big 12. Any other conference having a pro day at the Dallas Cowboys campus? No, but it's happening. It's happening. So why would they stop this from happening? This is actually good for college football because now another school can scrimmage against another school. This is good. The only reason they would want to stop it is the same reason why there's somebody out here trying to block Russ, because it was Coach Prime's idea or Fran Brown's idea. But I'm going to go ahead with Coach Prime. Just like it's a Nike Elite High School Coaching Symposium up there. Y'all think that was Nike idea? It's Coach Prime. That's the Prime effect. I would choose Russ over Rodgers any day. He is drama and team cancer. Okay, I want to post your comment, but the C word, I can't post it. So, Jared, retype it without the C word, and I'll post it because some people have relatives with cancer, so we don't want to put that out there. All right, and then I'll repost it. Thank you, because I like sharing y'all's comments. So, yeah, I would definitely choose Russ. It said it's going to be a joint practice looking... What's that? It's going to be a joint practice, Blue Devil. What did you say? Looking at the NFL. What did you say about that? Oh, with the NFL watching? No, it's supposed to be. They're going to be there for 3 days. They're going to practice and they're going to play. That's the schedule. That's why I said this is already done. And yeah, there might be some people in their feelings, but honestly, what can you really do about it? Come out and say, we don't want to do this. Somebody done talk to some people because this is already, we're going to practice this many days. We're going to play this day. It's on ESPN too. Nick Williams, that's his name. I thought it was Nick Wright. Okay, Nick Williams and Savion Washington, the big offensive lineman who left last year. That's who it is. Okay, Mr. Griffin, Chad Griffin, thank you. I knew somebody left. I knew his name was Nick, but I thought it was Wright. Nick Williams. It was a shock when he left. I was surprised that he left. I thought he was good, but I don't know. But look, he at Syracuse and he doing good. He might end up a head coach one day. You never know. Pittsburgh will come to their senses and sign Russ. Jerry, I think you're right, because that's what they want to do anyway. And the fact that the Giants didn't offer Russ and the fact that Cleveland didn't offer Russ tells me that they trying to push Russ back to the Steelers. See, these owners talk. These GMs talk. And they probably see what's going on, whether anybody ever verbalizes it or not. And now that the whole Minnesota comes up for Rodgers and Flacco comes up from the Steelers, that's how you know somebody's meddling. And their goal is anybody but Russ. Because they should be happy if Flacco was QB1 and Russ was QB2, but they know they can't trust it because that was already the scenario when Russ got to Pittsburgh. And it didn't work. So yeah, it said, sounds of bliss in nature. Welcome back. It said, hi everyone in the chat. How you doing? What she said, I'm doing well. We are talking about all of the breaking news coming out of Colorado, and their spring game is expected to be competitive this year against Syracuse. Fran Brown from Georgia was Syracuse head coach last year. They did well. I feel like CU and Syracuse, when it comes to football, are pretty much equally yoked. Our QB1, Shedeur Sanders, and Kyle McCord, who I thought was good, from Syracuse, are both going to the draft. It looks like the head coaches probably have conferred with their universities to have Fran Brown and Syracuse, or Cuse football as it's called. Y'all go follow them. Cuse football, go follow them. Come up to Boulder for 3 days to play a competitive spring game, while other schools are canceling their spring game because they don't see the value. And while it might be monotonous, instead of just letting it go, Coach Prime sees the opportunity, as does Fran Brown. Not sure whose idea it was, but they're seizing the opportunity to be innovative and make the spring game competitive, which is perfect. Because when we talked about Colorado's schedule, after I said I wanted Colorado to play Syracuse in the Las Vegas Bowl, and we didn't get that, I said we need a game before we get to Georgia Tech, a real game. This is that. And this gives our QBs who are competing for the number one spot a real competition. We need real competition before we get to Georgia Tech. Any team that went 8 OTs with Georgia is coming to town with a chip on their shoulder, and we need real competition. And to me, Syracuse is that. So I hope the NCAA or the ACC or the Big 12 or whoever, I don't think the Big 12 have a problem with it. I hope they don't get in the way. Neither I hope no, bring some refs. Get some refs from somewhere else. Don't get ours, because they not good. They not good. I understand they got a union, but unions have chapters. Get somebody from the East Coast that don't have no connection to the ones over here in the Big 12, because they got issues. Hi, everyone. We doing good. So, that's where we are. And then we were talking about, so that was breaking news in my opinion. Then we were talking about Shedeur. I'm recapping, guys, for people who are just joining. We're talking about Shedeur making a chess move. He and Geno Smith linking up together in a city I couldn't figure it out. I'm gonna go maybe Vegas or somewhere else. They linked up. They in this photo. They shared the photo on Shedeur's page. I'm sure it might be on Geno's page. I think I follow him. Go follow Geno Smith as well. Geno Smith and Cuse Football. Follow those. And because we could talk about it, we could keep up. And to me, this quiets the haters talking about Shedeur plummeting in the draft. That one hater that said that Shedeur is not the QB that the NFL is looking for. And then, Geno Smith. People saying the Raiders found their QB of the future in Geno Smith, who signed a 1-year contract, which probably going to be a bridge QB. And what it does is, not only does it silence them, it takes it one step further, just like when Shedeur and Cam were in Las Vegas. You can't pit them against each other because they're pictured right here together. It ain't going to work. It shows that Geno is fine with Shedeur being there, and Shedeur is fine with Geno being there. And they cool with whatever, and they going to be good teammates. This is a chess move. Just like Syracuse coming up to Colorado, that is a chess move. Other people could have did it, but they didn't think of it, or they didn't act on it. This will go down as part of the prime effect, and also too, Syracuse fan base who already likes Fran Brown, they will love this. They will love this. Schools always want the opportunity to compete against Coach Prime and the Colorado Buffs. I told you the two schools are equally yoked, in my opinion, when it comes to football. I said Caden Salter had, if I'm not mistaken, he had an offer from Syracuse and he had an offer from Colorado. He chose CU. There are some people that have chosen Syracuse over Colorado, and we have a former coach and a former player. Former player is Savion Washington up in Syracuse. So all of that's getting ready to come together. Joint practice, the NFL is coming to college football. I'm not sure what you're saying on that, Blue Devil. Let me know. It say, yes, I heard it's going to be exciting from the belief that Syracuse coach had to reach out to Prime, which is genius, to bring more views awareness on two schools that made huge turnarounds. Right. So however it happened, I said it seemed like it's part of the Prime effect, but Denzel Washington reached out to Coach Prime. So it's not unbelievable that Syracuse was. See, I'm not the only person who believed that these two schools were equally yoked when it comes to the football program. I saw Syracuse making a run for it with their media. I watched their pro day today. They had this one guy that did good. If I find out who it is, I'm going to share the video. Excellent. He was giving me Will Shepherd vibes. Long, tall, and stretching and being determined to catch the ball while your feet are 45 degrees off the ground and your hands are trying to get it. Even though this was a ball that some people wouldn't have caught because it was too far, away from where the route was. Excellent. So to me, I like the kinship or the camaraderie or the collaborative effect that this gives off. I love this. This is beautiful. And do I need to point out the obvious about the two head coaches? Do I need to point out the obvious? No, but we get it, right? It's beautiful. It's a beautiful thing. So yeah, it's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. All right. So we are hour and 44 minutes. So we're gonna get ready to get out of here. Like I said, there's a lot. Do not forget. This week on the NFL Network, and if you can find it anywhere else, but I believe the NFL Network, the first ever that I know of, the Big 12 conference, the conference that Colorado's in for football. That Colorado's in when it comes to football, is having a pro day for the conference, which is going to have about 200 players from, I think it's about 16 schools in the Big 12. And they are going to descend upon Jerry Jones World, known as the Star or the Dallas Cowboys World Headquarters, or their campus, or whatever you want to call it. It's called the Star in Frisco. It's open to the public. I don't know how much it costs, but it's probably free. But it's open to the public. And the reason why I think it's free, just like the Combine was, you just probably got to register, is because the NFL is using this as marketing. They have this All-State Institute is going to be there when it comes to the youth, with young men going to the league and young girls in flag football. So they're trying to use this to get people in for marketing. So you kind of get you involved in the NFL. So you could just go if you in the Dallas area. Frisco is 55 miles from the state line in Oklahoma. So if you're in Oklahoma, you just take an hour trip down there. If you're in Waco, Houston, you could just go head on and make your way to Frisco. It's a couple of days, so check the calendar, check the times, and check the NFL Network, check the internet, so you can find out, and maybe y'all can go. And always, if you go, let me know so I can get some content from you. But you never know about these things. So this is excellent. It's a lot of good moves. This is what I call progress. I pointed out that the commissioner from the Big 12 either came from Rock Nation or Live Nation. So it kind of makes sense that he would be a person who was innovative enough to get this together. And of all the practice facilities, Jerry World, Dallas Cowboys Complex, this is the Star right here. They got a hotel, they have shopping, they have restaurants. It's like a town center, an elite town center, but this is their practice facility. But understand that in Texas, in the suburbs, in these master plan communities, this is what a town center would look like. So in my opinion, Jerry Jones took the town center concept that's so popular in Texas, like the Woodlands, if you ever heard of it, Kingwood, Clear Lake, all of these areas. Frisco is one of those areas with a town center complex, and he used the land that he purchased to develop like a town center, but he calls it the campus for the Dallas Cowboys. It's a sight to behold. So y'all, let me know if anybody could go and just check it out. Let's see. So we're gonna get ready to get out of here, y'all. Excellent commentary as usual. I saw about 20 people. Please make sure there are 20 likes. Thank you. The channel is growing. We have new members. Don't forget we have memberships, and I want to make sure I thank Jerry, who's a new member. Darlene Thomas, a new member. Thank you. 400 Circle Media, thank you for the love, financial support, along with the others. And then 400 Circle Media sends money in the chat. Y'all can do the same. It's cool. This podcast don't happen by itself, so I appreciate it. And it allows me probably to do things like pop up in Dallas and go live from there. Gracie, thank you so much for being family. James, thank you. James doesn't always make the podcast, but y'all might see him as part of the replay game along with Ronnie. So after the live stream post, once it actually posts, you can make comments, and you'll see supporters of the podcast making comments there. Please engage with them, like it, drop an emoji, or comment how you feel about the commentary that they left there. So we want to get that part going as well. And I want to make sure, Kiel, thank you, hanging out, fam. Every day, Gracie shows up. I appreciate y'all. So those are the members. And then we have new subs. So I appreciate y'all. And then for y'all that hang out every day, you might be on the fence about becoming a member. But hey, if you're going to come every day, you might as well become a member, support the channel. And then I, too, can pop up in Boulder at the spring game. Or I can pop up in Frisco at Pro Day. So that's what the financial support does. It enables me to be mobile and start going to the activities and going live from these activities to bring more exciting and engaging content. And it just brings it all together because we talk about these things. But then when I'm on the ground and I would have access to these things, just like the Pro Day, I could go to that. That's what the financial support does. So if it's on your heart to donate to the channel, that's what it will be used for, to upgrade the podcast and start going to these events and going live from these events. All right. So thank y'all so much. I'm going to get out of here. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And I will see y'all tomorrow, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on What She Said. Thank you so much from the What She Said Sports Podcast.